And welcome back. Our next guest is a single mother and also a multi-business owner with an impressive professional background in the beauty, hospitality, entertainment, as well as not-for-profit sectors. Now, over the last 10 years, she's coached girls and women and aspiring business leaders to do the same. She chronicles her riveting story in her self-help memoir series, Flying Solo. Joining us now to share more and tell the details is entrepreneur and author Carline Beaubrun. And thank you so much, Carline, for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I'll take me back for a minute. As we look at your career, starting off as an entrepreneur, you started off at a very early age, the age of 17, a time when many people don't even think about becoming an entrepreneur. So for you, what was the impetus in saying, listen, I want to do this?
So I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. My mom and dad, came from Haiti and came here and made a life for themselves. And they never looked at entrepreneurship as a actual profession coming from the islands. They just, thought it was a way of life because they had to do what they had to do to make it happen here. But for me, growing up, it impacted me very, very much. And at the age of 17, I remember getting my first job, and I wanted to have my first job because I grew up in, my family's businesses and helped them, throughout their whole, foundation of building their businesses. And so for me, I didn't look at it as a job. I just, I wanted to fill out an application and go through the whole process. So I did that. At 17, I filled out an application, I got hired at a prestigious retail company, and it lasted about 3 days. And I said, this is not for me. I had a tyrant boss who just, coming from, an entrepreneurial family, I've learned a lot, so when I got into that department, it was just like, this is not it. And so I wrote him a letter of resignation, and within that 3 days I got hired. I think I started on Monday. By Wednesday, I wrote that letter, told him everything he was doing, wrong in the department and what he can do better to that he could improve on. And I said that was it. So at that age, I figured that was not the way that I wanted to go. And I started my entrepreneurship journey at that point, where, I at the age of, I think it was like 15, 13, I started a little business within my mom's salon. And so that gave me like a lot of, of my own foundation of building something and growing it within her space. And so at 17, I was like, I can do this. And so I went back to working at the salon with her, and continued that journey up until, I got older and started branching out on my own and building my own foundation.
So you write a book, Passion to Profit, talk about your personal life. And, by all accounts, I think you've been through it. When you go and look at your story, talk about a narcissistic ex-husband, having to really deal with divorce, having to deal with, a lot of different adversities in life. And yet and still you are able to take pen to paper or now the computer and be able to write this book. So talk about why you wanted to write this book.
Yeah, so at one point in life, going through all of those difficult challenges, I lost everything. I lost my home. I lost the life that I knew. I literally had to move back into my parents' house with my 3 kids in the bedroom that I grew up in and had to start over. And so for me, it was, using that story and, having a conversation, a spiritual conversation to say, God, if you get me out of this situation, I want to help other people as well, that, from all the things that I've learned, to be able to help someone else going through that, because it was a very traumatic time for me. A lot of learning, a lot of lessons learned. And I knew that it was something that someone else could be going through, because I know when I was going through it, I needed all the help and support that I can get. And as much as I was able to learn from it and survive it, I wanted to be able to provide that impact to someone else. And so when COVID happened, prior to COVID, it was always something in the back of my mind. I want to do. And every time I share my story with someone who's either going through something themselves, and I share a little bit about my story or encourage them to do things that I've learned, they're always like, oh, you should write a book. You should write a book. So it's always been in the back of my mind. But owning, multiple businesses and going through, raising 3 children, it's difficult. So it's never, there was never enough time in the day for me to sit down and really do it. And COVID gave me that time. And I remember, in the start of COVID, it was like numbifying how the entire world just shut down. And it was just like, for me, what is the message behind this that I could use to learn from or do something with the time that, we were given during that time after going through the initial shock of what is going on, when COVID happened. But I used that time to, to really put pen to paper, and I prayed on it, and I wrote it was supposed to be one book, and that one book turned into a 4-part book series because there was just so much information and knowledge that I could share and experiences that I could share. And it was, I thought it would be a disservice to just scrunch it all into one book. So it turned into a 4-part book series.
And what has been the response for you? I mean, I know you got a lot of people who've been reading and enjoying your story, but talk a little bit about the response. Were you a little nervous about the response you possibly could get putting a book out, knowing that,
Yeah.
listen, I've never done this before?
Right. Absolutely. There was that fear. And I always, there's always a lesson learned and a seed that I could always drop to, to help someone else. Never go based on your fear to say, I'm not going to do something, because I did have that initial fear because I've never done it before. And it was just like, am I wasting my time? And I did so much work. It was so much work, so much effort to put into it. And I was really nervous about what the response would be. The response has been incredible. Like, I can't even, like, I'm so shocked and yet overwhelmed and excited, because the response has been amazing. People are calling and texting. Someone yesterday called to buy another book because someone stole their book and they wanted to get another book. Other people, this one lady has it in a Ziploc bag and she carries it with her wherever she goes. It's been incredible. It's been incredible. So I'm really excited. So I'm working on the second book now. That one is more heart-wrenching. And so I know, a lot of people will learn from the second book. It's just so many different elements that, each book offers. And I'm so glad that the response has been really, really amazing for the first one. So it's empowering me to do the second, third, and fourth.
Second, third, fourth.
And
That's all
fourth.
right. Right. Well, talk to me about single moms, because I know that's also an emphasis of your book, and single moms really can dive in and really get some real nuggets in here.
Yes. So first of all, I want to say to any single mom that is listening or watching this, that do not feel discouraged. Do not let your situation take away your joy and the future and the legacy that you can build as a parent. Your children need you. You are their world, and they don't know any better. They don't know, the good, bad, or indifferent that we're going through. It's whatever we teach them, whatever we allow them to see, to hear, that will impact their future as well. And whatever we're doing with this time, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, whether you're sulking in your, in your situation, or whether you're taking it on with full reins and running with it, they're watching you. And so whatever it is that they're seeing, is going to impact who they become as they get older. And I think for me, that was something that I definitely took seriously, because I did not want my decisions, the decisions that I made as an adult, to impact and influence my children and who they will become as future adults. And so that was something that I really, took into wholehearted consideration in everything that I did. And so I want you to think about that. I want you to make sure that you do not let your dreams die. Whatever you wish to do in life, you can still do it. Do not let your situation determine who you can become, who you are meant to be.
Yeah. I want to talk before we go about your life, right? Because with all the adversities that you've had, it's very easy to lay down and die, quote unquote, right? To just
Yes.
let it all go. A lot of people, when they do have these situations, never bounce back.
Yes.
And sometimes we engage in victim mentality. But I know for you, you want to make sure that you send a message that not to be a victim and that you can overcome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's very important. And your mental, uh, like Your mental state of mind is what's going to carry you through these adversities. How you think about it, your perspective, what you allow to seep in, what you dwell on. Your thoughts are everything, because yes, that victim mentality is real. It's a lot to deal with when you're going through a divorce, especially the layers of narcissistic abuse, domestic violence, abuse, and all the, different layers that come with, divorce sometimes, or relationships, or complicated situations that we deal with as adults. So your mentality is going to be everything. Read as much as you can, do things that make you happy, stay focused, write, anything that can give you an outlet so that you can feel connected to yourself and to rebuild yourself. Do not just jump from one relationship to another thinking that that's going to solve your problem, or that's going to prove a point, or whatever the case is. I don't know who needs to hear this, or who is watching this that needs to understand that how you feel and how you allow your other people to make you feel, because sometimes a lot of blame is cast also as you're going through these situations. How you feel and how you allow other people to make you feel, and how you choose to react to these situations, is going to be everything to your success. And so I speak of success in the term of overcoming the feelings and emotions of defeat, overcoming the feelings and emotions of depression and sadness that you're going through certain things in life. You can do it. You will do it. If I did it, you can definitely do it. And that is the message that I write in my books. And I teach you exactly how to really take on that empowering determination to keep going with your life.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I know that you've got a multiplicity of hats that you wear. I know you've got your director of events, wedding and event design, co-owner of a classic beauty salon, and then you also got executive director of Pajamas and a Purpose, and so many things that you got going on. And I want to congratulate you on the great
Thank
work
you.
that you do. And thank you for being with us here on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
All righty. Well, we want to let you know now, if you want more information, what you can do is visit our website at Carline Beaubrun, I'm sorry, and that's carlinebeaubrun.com, and also flying soloblog.com. There you find out all the information about the multiplicity of things that she's got going on, and then also her books.